So it was going to be a magnificent day, and then we finished up with a lot of rain.
In his first grand final gets things underway.
A debuting umpire, Peter Schwab, got the first possession of the game with a hand pass out.
Crash, they go through, and that was Spalding.
And straight away there was some tough physical contact being made.
Abbott, who played every game this year. Way to Morrissey.
And then Peter Schwab, who got the first touch for the game, got the first goal of the game.
Here's the incident with Whitman. He went in to apply the tackle.
And Whitman was injured early in the first quarter.
And hit the ground. Looked like a collision with the ground.
And had to come off, and we didn't see Chris Whitman again. Williams on the angle for a goal for the Demons, and they hit the front early in the first quarter at the 13-minute mark.
And they're sorting things out.
The rains came and the action warmed up with Ayres and Spalding, joined by Yates, and then players came from everywhere.
Spalding, in comes Yates, and Steins gets rid of Ayres again.
The bump of the quarter. Viney collects Schwab.
Slippery out there, crashing in his Viney. Schwab went down.
And then Todd Viney, a tennis player, we thought, but here he is as a wrestler with Robert Di-Domenico.
In the sumo wrestling division. Knocks it out wide.
Dermot Brereton stirs things up with Hughes, and then Healy chips in. Now to the second quarter, and the name of the game is kicking goals. Brereton wins a free kick by putting the pressure on. And have a look at his angled shot for goal.
Behind him as he kicks the goal.
With a great camera angle.
Right to left, so it further narrows a narrow angle.
Will he use a check side or a banana kick?
Straight.
He has.
Oh, what a goal!
And then the Hawks started to get on a roll with a tap on by Morrissey, which was brilliant football, out to Di-Domenico, who kicked a tremendous goal off the left foot.
Great kick!
Hawthorn's key forwards were a danger. Brereton couldn't quite take the mark here, but the crumbs came down to Abbott, who kicked one of his 6.
2 goals to Paul Abbott. Brilliantly
in the second quarter we are. Chris Langford breaks up the pack, and this is what started a Hawthorn roll down the middle, where they took the ball about 70 metres forward without a clear possession. This is 1-4. What's your decision? Dermot Brereton playing the ball against a wall of opponents. The umpire free-kicked him for holding the ball.
Well,
the only bloke going for the ball and really putting himself in has been penalised.
Yes, he's hurt. He's having words. Dermot Brereton. This is Johnson.
The Hawks were relentless. Look at Jamie Morrissey, 35. Smothering the hand pass, following up, and kicking a goal from just inside 50.
So richly deserved. What a beauty.
Robert goes towards centre.
To the third quarter now. Williams misses a mark. Lyon behind him gets the Demons third for the game.
Yes, it does.
A small glimmer of hope for the Demons. Flintoff gets a hand pass away, and Williams gets the goal from close in.
But Williams will kick the goal this time.
To the last quarter now, and a bit of a comedy here with a 50-metre penalty being paid, with Abbott just metres out from goal. It was a walk-up start for Abbott as he caught the defenders unaware, strolled in and kicked the goal from about a metre out.
Surely if that's a 50-metre penalty, he should square him up to the goals.
He did warn Grinter once, had a word to him.
No, they just walked in and kicked. Play on, says
Melbourne didn't have many moments.
Goes to Wilson.
Here was one.
He gets free. Back to Johnson.
Out to Johnson
goal.
for one of their very few goals.
Over from a
the Hawks going for the record margin, and Abbott for his 6th goal.
Congratulations to him.
The Hawks going for a record here. Abbott on the run. Can he kick his 6th? He can! And that is a record margin in a grand final.
Now the coaches wanted to come down to the boundary line, but they found themselves locked in the box, so out of the window they came.
They tell us the door is shut.
Here's Abbott. 91
Hawthorn
points
storm home.
Minute and a half
Collins
left.
to Brereton to Pritchard.
Collins up to half forward. Brereton.
Unselfish play on the forward line by the Hawks, and Dunstall just lined up to kick for his 7th goal.
Pritchard pops it for a beautiful play, and Jason Dunstall on the point of the goal square. Dunstall now going for number 7. He's got it. 3 in this last quarter.
Chris Mew has the ball.
And as the clock ticks down, Hawthorn not quite winning by a century, but 96, the biggest grand final win in the history of the competition. Hawthorn premiers for 1988.
Hawthorn, their 7th premiership in emphatic style this afternoon.
The VFL finals results are brought to you by State Bank Victoria.
22-20, 152. Melbourne restricted to just half a dozen goals. 6-20-56. 96 points. The result. Robert Di going in the same direction as the ball.
Forward, no height there for Melbourne. Di Sherman 10.
Paul Abbott had a day out. Took this mark from behind.
What a mark by Abbott.
And Tony Hall in his first season has been superb overhead all year. That no exception.
A fellow South Australian and Hall.
Jamie Morrissey with a big leap for the Hawks. And Jason Dunstall with one of his typical dives. Gary Ayres best on ground, and this was typical of his courage.
Superb mark away. It's taken
Chris
by
Mew showing sure hands in defence.
Going back, a fine mark is taken by Chris Mew.
Alan Johnson had to stretch sideways for this one.
Intended for Johnson. What a good mark that was.
Sean White had a quiet day, but had a good leap.
Members side. White, good strong mark. Forward of centre wing.
And Chris Mew again in defence.
Big pack into the air, or in fact.
Late in the game, Dermot Brereton, one of his 10 marks at centre half forward.
Yes!
Well, they were the best marks taken in the grand final, and our judge is 1988.
Slight stammer. Then goes
Steve Silvani of Carlton in round one.
What a mark!
To round two, Darren Mullane of Collingwood.
Half-back flank. Oh, what a mark!
Gary Ablett, the high flyer from Geelong.
Oh!
Brian Royal of Footscray. Jimmy Cracker of North Melbourne.
With what he's seen so far, Hall.
The Hawks, Dermot Brereton.
Sensational ball. Look at the mark by Dermot Brereton.
And Jason Dunstall. What about this for a slips catch? Simon Beasley of Footscray up on the Gold Coast. Right at the end of the game. Dermot Brereton again.
What a mark by Dermot Brereton.
Good to see Ken Hunter in this list.
Oh, great mark. Great mark.
Peter Foster of Footscray, one of the best marks for the season. He took many during the year. Gary Ablett, another candidate. Wayne Henwood of the Sydney Swans.
47 metres. Still in the field of play. Oh, big time. What a mark by Henwood.
And Stephen Silvani again.
Forward. Starcevic. Oh, Silvani.
Runs up towards
Jeff Rains also getting a kilometre in the air. Paul Bryce of North Melbourne.
Kick. It's going to go deep into the square, and it's a mark. Bryce has come over the top.
A kick a goal.
Peter Curran of Hawthorn with courage.
Oh, what a mark. Peter Curran.
Dunstall.
Andrew Gowers with a slips catch.
Oh, what a mark. Yes, Gowers. Bays up
Steve DeRuy of Carlton.
DeRuy running with the flight of the ball. What a great mark.
It's onto the left foot.
Stephen Stretch of the Demons.
2-on-1, and what a mark.
Pity the crowd wasn't.
North Melbourne's John McCarthy.
Final size crowd. Whoa! A sensational mark by McCarthy.
Graham Yates of Melbourne.
Centre wing. Johnston, but in from the side, Yates.
And now we get to finals action. Sean White of Melbourne.
Into the square.
It's a mark to Sean White.
The kick.
Jason Dunstall again of Hawthorn.
Dunstall, what a mark.
Here's Dermot.
And Earl Spalding of Melbourne.
Spalding, playing a marvellous game, was up to take a strong mark.
Well, they were the candidates, so I think we saw some tremendous week, but in slow motion it might take you a month to come down. Great mark. From yesterday's grand final, David Williams from near the boundary line.
Good-looking kick. That's a magnificent kick.
What about Dermot Brereton's banana kick?
Straight.
He has.
Oh, what a goal! Morrissey
And Robert
taps out
Di off the left boot from wide out.
25 metres. Great kick!
Melbourne can't.
Jamie Morrissey followed up a smother with a goal for himself.
Stretch, a beautiful pick-up, but Morrissey took it off him. And Morrissey goes for goal, which he so richly deserves. What a beauty!
And Paul Abbott on the run from near the edge of the centre square.
Abbott on the run. Can he kick his sixth? He can! And that is a record margin in a grand final.
Just 5 goals from yesterday's grand final, and our chief judge.
And line up and kick a goal straight through the middle.